This is another video for housing sector. Kind of want to have a little chat about packmen and what I mean by the term packmen. I spend a lot of time, as I think I've already said, out in market since 2013 in various environments, doing different things, for whatever reason. And I suppose I'm an ear and eyewitness to a lot of things that I think need to get across the table. Now, having done a lot of deals when I was working in the energy provider environment, direct with housing associations and local authorities, no middlemen, I actually came across a couple of things that aren't so legal. Things like organisations asking me to go and get funding from energy providers at X rate. So if we talk back in CESP, in the late part of CESP, so the Community Energy Saving Programme, i.e. go and get £150 per tonne, you get a split, I get a split, and then you only give the customer X, or £125 a tonne. That's not on, and it's completely illegal, because if the data owner doesn't know about that transaction, then under the DPA rights, the Data Protection Act 1998, it's not allowed. So that's gone on a couple of times, quite a lot actually, within market. So I think what I'd like to do is discuss with non-frameworkers at the moment, non-frameworked housing associations, and spend a bit of time from now through till March, because to be fair, I'm a little bit bored. I've actually been quite poorly. I'm still a little bit poorly, and under my doctor's supervision because of certain things that went on last year and this year. Through my endeavours to be honest and truthful in my business, and do things ethically and do it the right way. And it seems that market doesn't like that because they've got accustomed to the profitability that is in carbon and kilowatt. Anyway, so housing associations, if you've had any previous contracts in CESP, I'd like to have a look at those. I do have a ability, and I call it a gift. I'm able to strip through any business in 15 minutes and tell you where you're losing money or where you've lost money, and a very brief overview of legally, where you stand on that. However, as trials and happenings know, because I go nick their pens, their Haribos, their nuts, I go and have a little chat with Andrew every now and again, and he's like, who are we suing today, Helen? And I'm like, I don't know. So, we're not suing anyone. Well, I am. I'm going to be a litigant for my own endeavours next year, because I'm not standing for it. So I'd like to do something. I'd like to be active. I want to spend a couple of hours a week or a day looking at something like your contracts, just to examine a little bit closer what's what, so that I can tell you what's what and what isn't, or what should have. Again, without going into too much detail. Of course, there's eco. I think we need to have a little chat about brokerage system. When it comes to an energy provider won't be clearly defined in what they will pay for carbon through that route, purely because they have a lot of governance that they have to deal with their side of the fence that third parties and middle market have no clue about. And the information that goes into brokerage isn't necessarily clean and ethical, and the energy majors will only pay what they feel on that point. And they will always want to do direct service level agreements with the asset owners, which is what they've always wanted to try and achieve. Because if you look at this simply, there is supply, there is demand. Supply have procuring infrastructure, demand have procuring infrastructure. And that to me is the combined top of the pyramid. The money then goes down the pyramid, and these companies that have built EWI firms, that have built CWI, have built all of these different things going on, then get the ability to be able to deliver the work through, one, being on the housing association's procuring infrastructure or nominated supply, or however it's labelled within the housing association, and also allow the energy companies to utilise their workforce, which of course lessens the risks that the housing associations have to carry, because they're doing it under their governance, their compliance, and their processes. Granted, not all of the processes are great, but there are better ways to do direct delivery. And there is a couple of energy companies, well, all of them know about me and what I'm trying to achieve, and help housing sector in what I deem to be a very short cycle of events to get you into a really good position to move forward and be sustainable. That's the whole point of an energy company's group strategy, and I'm not just talking 2020, I'm talking 2050, because that's how far ahead I see. And if we don't deal with the fact that there is 6 main energy obligated energy companies, with a couple of other ones milling around, I really don't know what they're doing. I mean, I've had a look. But anyway, the main ones, you know, if they don't achieve their targets, and when they start their banking process in September of, well, September, October time, ish in 2016, if they don't achieve their targets, then there's an issue post 2017, and then there's a whole process of validating that issue that then has like this kind of staggered effect with Ofgem, that where they give, it's almost like being at school, they give you a written warning, verbal warning, and it just goes on. Now that implication causes a problem for us, the public, because then we are in this wave of, do we switch, don't we switch? What does everyone do? Which is really annoying, and that also has a tax implication on us. And I'm finding it slightly difficult that government's kind of not got their head around that point, and just gone, I don't know, farted basically, and just really irritated everybody. I mean, I don't understand how you can make a decision on UK housing assets when you don't even know the exact carbon efficiency currency for the UK, because that carbon comes from that asset that's owned by that asset owner under data protection right. So there's lots of layers of issues, and I am an eyewitness to all of this, through the point of going through the processes and going through the headaches and understanding and validating some of the issues that are out there. Things like the systems, for example, the systems that calculate the carbon, the XML information that is pulled from the survey. I've been in environments where I've seen people that have no experience or qualification to be inputting a EPC into a certified and accredited system to allow that to then go through, calculate a carbon, for it to then become applicable to an energy company. If the energy company doesn't know that that's going on, then there's an issue, because they're only going by the granted relationship of that agreement that they've got between two parties. And that can't keep going on. I'm aware of companies that offset people to do that, which again isn't their job. It's the job of the energy assessor, who is qualified to be doing that underneath, under their rights and under their processes. Now, I'm aware that there's been a lot of bulk surveys done, and surveyors will be I'm not saying all surveyors, but there's been a little bit of laziness in market, and a lot of firms out there that do carry accreditations and stuff that have actually allowed their energy assessors to hand over EPC information to these people and almost administration people and let them input into the system. Now, we all know on the inputting that, errors can be made, and I've also witnessed fudging. Now, fudging to me means, they want to increase the performance of the EPC to gain more carbon. Now, that's an issue. So when the banking starts, there's going to probably be some rejections, and if that's not already happened yet. I'm aware of some housing associations that have got some contracts in market already, and a few of them have been dealing legally for over the last 12 months in trying to sort out their problems with large amounts of monies in the millions, and that stresses me out because it shouldn't still be going on. And I'm also got a little bit of a question mark. Well, I haven't got a question mark. I've got the answer to it, but I'm not going to give it out over on this. But I don't understand why Ofgem fined E.ON. I really don't, because E.ON should never have got fined. It's nothing to do with them. So that firm that was involved in that deal and wound up the deal, and the directors have now reformed a new business. I mean, what the hell is going on? We're going round in circles of just continuous debt because of people that just see the pound signs in carbon, and they don't think how they're affecting the rest of the economy. And these people, to me, are cretins because there's people in poverty, there's people that are becoming homeless, there's people that are becoming ill because their properties aren't fit, because there is so much of a disparate barrier of information, and that's why the only ethical and clean way to do a deal with an energy provider is direct. It's direct. Now, before the energy providers get all excited and go, yay, we've found a door opener. No, that's not the case, because what happens is the housing association also has to make sure that they've got lots of options on the table before they make a decision about you. And I'm offering to, again, within those 15 minutes of my skill and capability, to look at those proposals returned through my process. But just remember that I do like the energy companies, as much as 2 or 3 of them really irritate me at the moment. But my overarch of this really is carbon emissions, and the underarch is people, because if the carbon's right and the value's right, then the people at the bottom, of these pyramids where the money should be funding through and helping people and economy. That's my thing that I'm really interested in, and I think I want to explain a little bit more about me. My dad was very avid about Margaret Thatcher and when the collation got set up. And unfortunately, I used to spend a lot of time driving around Birmingham in my dad's van when he had the units in Jewellery Quarters, not far from where Lloyd's. Don't even start me on Lloyd's commercial banking right now. But my dad was very much, it's going to go wrong, there's going to be a problem, there's going to be another recession. He predicted that. Now, funny enough, I've got my dad's gene. I've got my mum's process head and I've got my dad's gene in terms of engineering. So I've kind of combined all of that and I have created a new recode design of an intellectual property, which I've now submitted through the relevant departments. Again, confidentially, I can't talk about that, but I've done it as a researcher rather than in it for the benefit, because I believe there needs to be a solution, not a commercial benefit to market. Commercial benefit to market in between supply and demand, but a solution, and we need that. We need that more than anything. And I have nominated a number of organisations that I believe will be able to kickstart the process. And it has to be done the right way, because we can't continue the way we're going as a country. And if anyone else wants to ask me about why on that, I've also fully researched the NHS system, the DWP system, the DHP system, the mental health system, and why that doesn't necessarily work, and why all of the people that work in those divisions are so miserable, even down to, credit and things like that, debt management companies. For example, I've got a little bit of beef with Experian at the minute, and I've got an adjudicator, thank you very much, who's dealing with Experian, because there's been a number of farts, as I call them, running around saying I owe money when I don't, and Experian have allowed them to play shit onto my credit record when they don't even have the consumer credit agreement, which is pretty much like me going up to a random stranger in the street and saying, mate, you owe me 20 grand, and then taking him to court and getting the money. It's just, I don't know what's going on. I think there's just been a complete breakdown in terms of the system, and I just hope that matey David Cameron, and in his endeavours in being radical, and government's ambitions, and I can see what they're trying to achieve, and I just hope and pray that they do the right thing. We don't want to see more weather damage and then the money coming out of the bag. What we need to see is the money being put in the right area to protect us and give us energy security, because investment in a nuclear site that has already spanked a load of money and not given us anything and will only provide energy to 6 million homes is not security. To me, that is the biggest decision we've ever made, and I have fear about that. I don't see security for us as a country, and not only that, if it goes wrong, we don't want to upset China. We really don't. They're really nice people as well. They've got teacups and stuff, and my coffee cups from China. They do a lot of things, and I just think I know it's a wrong move, and I'm disappointed in Amber Rudd not responding to my very detailed letter of the breaches against the housing sector in some of the decisions that have been made. And I think, I'm allowed under the transfer policy, under public theories and public interest 98 to do that. So I've done it. And again, I've been ignored, and part of the reason why I'm ill, because I've done so much research, I hold so much knowledge now that half the time my brain falls out when I look at LinkedIn, because it's just noise. It makes my eyes bleed, it hurts my head, and I just want to see an economy, and I want to see a future, because at the moment I don't see a future for children either. I don't. That's why I don't have children myself. I don't see it. It angers me. It angers me. And everybody just wants to be happy. So lots of research, lots of things looked at. One day off, went to Alton Towers. So I'm hoping people want to make use of me in the right way, ethical way, trust-based. I'm not into hefty contracts or anything like that. The agreement is if I find you the solution and it works, your proposals, you're happy with them, I will make sure you get premium pay for your carbon, and you have the opportunity, should I be successful through the Innovate UK, elements that I've applied for and will continue to keep applying for through the knowledge that I now hold in Smart City Approach, and how that can then be reached out to more rural areas in terms of data and other things. I have to be careful because I have not a lot of knowledge and I don't want to give away a lot, because there's lots of idiots out there that will do anything to gain information and run off and think that they are able to utilise that information in the future if Helen Trott goes down the pan and her businesses, which it isn't going to happen, because in good faith I've been extremely honest in what I'm doing, and I've not done anything wrong. So I'm hoping that I will get the support from housing sector. That's what I'm hoping, and there are a number of you out there that I am aware, having just sat on my phone, which is what I do on a daily basis, researching and looking at your businesses and looking at your budgets and just thinking, what is going on? You're being robbed blind. So there is an economy there, and before the frame workers get all martyr-like on me, if it's done the right way, you have less headache, and you have the ability to do what you're good at. So I think everyone just needs to get on with it, really.